This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by former undefeated WBC flyweight champion of the world, Charlie Edwards. Charlie, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks, Danny. Thanks for having me on, mate.
Oh, anytime. And although the hat represents Canada by the looks of it, you're actually now based in Portugal, I believe. Just tell us how all that came about.
To be honest, it was weird. It was kind of like a spur of the moment thing. Me and my missus, we met in Spain. So we met in a sunny country, and then we got together. We come back to England. We ended up getting locked in. We got married. We ended up having our little daughter, Sophia. And our plan was never to stay in England. It was kind of like to be in England for training camps at the time, and then go to Sweden, go back out to Spain and stuff like that. So we kind of like was fed up of lockdown, fed up of England. As everyone knows, it's quite depressive in England now, especially with all these COVID rules and regulations and stuff like that. So at the first opportunity, we discussed it and we got out of there. And Portugal, we've heard great things. My missus Christine's mum lives out here as well. So it made sense, you know, to get kind of more support with Christine and Sophia as well. And like, it's a lovely country. It feels like you go back 10, 15 years and it feels like you're in the real world as such. England's got so 100 miles an hour. It's so crazy now. And it's nice, it's safe, the sun's shining every day out here, you know. It's a good place to bring my family up in, and for Sophia to develop and grow into a young lady.
And you're in Villamora, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm over here in Villamora. We've been kind of checking out loads of areas out here to kind of relocate, to buy a house out here, and fingers crossed we've got a house. It's just with the lawyers now, and it's just going through all the like final stipulations, and then we can get settled and we can have our base, and I can get back to some serious training.
And talking of training, did that come into your consideration when you were deciding where you wanted to base your family? Because obviously Portugal's not known as a boxing hotbed, if you like, but there's so many other reasons that makes it a great place to live.
To be honest, it was like when I discussed things with my wife and we sat down, and we come to realization that now I've become a father, and we've got our daughter. Now the crucial stage is out the way. Like, she's going on 4.5, 5 months now. So we've done the hard bit, if you like. It's going to be always challenging and always hard, but we've done the hard bit at the beginning. And going back into my boxing career and really giving it 120% to become a 2-weight world champion, I realised, and we realised as a family, that I need to 100% dedicate myself. And if that means training full time out here, because the plan is for me to open my own training camp and boxing gym here in the near future anyway. So I've got facilities that I can train all year round that. And then when the fights come up and when it gets down to the fight, it's going to be 8 weeks away somewhere, and I'm going to have to take that sacrifice to step away from my family, step away from my daughter, which is going to be tough. But without sacrifice, you can't expect to get to the top. I know I've done it before when I was on my own and when I was single. So as a family, we've come to a realization that's what I've got to do. And whether that be, I like the idea of going out to America. Like I said, I've always had a bucket list of what I wanted to achieve in my career. I've nearly enough achieved everything that I've set out to achieve, but it's always been to go to America, to go and see what the boxing world's in there, to go and spar the best of the best, to maybe link up with a coach out there. I've got some coaches in mind, but I don't want to reveal nothing yet because obviously I haven't reached out or asked them, but I've got coaches in mind. My good friend's coming out today actually from England to get me back into like the boxing flow and the state of mind of camp again, get me kind of like pre-camp fit and pushing and get a fight towards the back end of the year. And so that is the plan of relocating here. It made it a lot easier. My missus is from Sweden, so in England it wasn't her home. She didn't have no support network there. In Portugal, her mum lives here, and it's easy for her brother, her father, and other people to come out and visit her. Like, who's not going to want to come to a nice sunny country for a few weeks? So that was the reasoning behind it.
And had you already moved on from Steel City before deciding to go to Portugal, or was it once you went to Portugal, you knew you couldn't train in England anymore?
Um, me, I decided to leave Steel City towards the end of February, the beginning of March. I didn't want to say anything or bring it to light because Grant Smith's done a lot for me and I'm so grateful for everything he's done for me. But I think it was just time for me to move on. I started to fall into a bit of a depression in Sheffield. I was finding it hard to enjoy training and I needed a change. I needed a new lease of life. And I think the environment in Sheffield just kind of drained the life out of me. I was in camp all the time and I was living in my camp mindset. And I think it was just a bit too much. Getting locked in wasn't the best as well because I couldn't go away. I like to travel. I like to explore. I like to take a break away. It didn't happen. So it just come to realization that like, I'm coming into the final years of my career, probably 4-5 years max. I need to be happy. A happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. I've always lived by that and all throughout my career. And it was time. It was just time to move on. Like I can't stress how grateful I am for everything Grant's done for me and everything he's taught me. He was there for me all the way through. He got me to the world title and he stuck with me all the way through. And he's done so much. So there was no remorse towards Grant Smith. It was just time for me to spread my wings and fly, I suppose, because I needed a change in my life. And being stuck in Sheffield was really getting me down.
Have you already found the benefits of that change in terms of your mental health since you've moved out to Portugal?
Definitely. Like, I feel like I'm Charlie Edwards again, you know, like towards being world champion, all that kind of crazy whirlwind of what happens, like it's, you don't even know what to expect, but it kind of takes you off and you just spiral out of control when you're trying to focus on this, that, and the other. And it's just a complete head mess, if you like. And I think it just got a bit too much. The pressure's got too real. I get a lot of support, which I'm really grateful for in the UK. But being in Sheffield, it's a small town, and winning a world title there, it was kind of like couldn't go nowhere without being recognised or noticed or talked to, which I'm grateful for. Don't get me wrong, I really appreciate all the support I get. But I think I'm quite a sensitive soul. I'm quite laid back, and I get a bit anxious. I got a bit of anxiety off the back of the Martinez fight. Of everything happened to me, it made me a bit paranoid, and I got depressed a little bit. But I believe them days are behind me now, and changing my environment, being out in the sun, getting that good positive vibrations back, and most of all, enjoying training again. Like I fell out of love with it, and if I'm real, I got to the point where I was questioning, do I want to do this anymore? And changing my environment and changing my mindset has brought the love and the passion back for boxing. And now I know there's fresh steps ahead of me. There's a new journey now, and now I can just focus on the future rather than the past.
So presumably with all the recent kind of discussion about Ryan Garcia being open about his issues, Amo Williams shortly afterwards, you can empathise with those guys and what they're going through.
Listen, us as fighters, it's the most toughest job in the world. We've got to put an act, we've got to be brave, we've got to show everyone that we're indestructible. But reality is we're all human beings, you know, and there's only so much you can take. And with this new age of social media, with this new age of pressure, it's not only in the boxing world, it's in every aspect of life. It's from people who go do a day-to-day job and they've got family pressures, they've got financial pressures and things like that. The world now is so 100 miles an hour and you're always trying to get more, that you're putting yourself under too much pressure. And it had a massive effect on me. It made me start not thinking I'm good enough to be a world champion. I got to become a world champion. I worked so hard. And even when I was world champion, that little voice in the back of my mind was telling me, you're not good enough. Like you're a blag, you're a fraud. And them kind of voices in your head, it's tough, that mental pressure. But taking the time out of boxing, relaxing a bit, enjoying my newborn's early stages of her life, spend quality time with my wife, it's been a breath of fresh air, relocating here and kind of like feeling free again and feeling like the past is the past now, and now I've got the energy, now I've had the rest that gives me the energy to be able to go again. We're not machines. And I think I've been boxing for 17 years. I was always, from a young age, got a lot of success. I was pushed through the GB squad. I was 15 when I got in the GB squad. I was one of the youngest people to get on there. Then I won a bronze medal when I was only 18 in my first major tournament. Then they were pushing me for the Olympics. I was push. I was a bit of a poster boy for the GB, and then I didn't make the Olympics. Then I went to the Commonwealths and didn't medal like I was supposed to. So my career's been very like up, down, and the pressures are real. From a young age, I've had pressure on me all the time. As everyone well knows, my dad really supported my career, but there was pressure there, and I needed to please him, needed to do everything. And there's only so much a man can take, and it got to the point where I was walking around anxious. I was walking around so anxious. I was nervous about anything. That I'd get a phone call from a manager or be speaking about when my next fight is, and like I would be thinking negative thoughts, and that's not me. When I won the world title, I was just so positive, so like driven and hungry for it. So taking the time out for it's been about 3 months. Like since I left Steel City, I haven't gone and trained in another gym. I've just been training myself, doing my runs, doing my strength and conditioning, doing a few pads here and there on my travels to here. But I haven't been proper week in, week out, camp like I have for all the years, not having a break as a boxer. So this kind of three months where I've just reset myself, I feel like a new person. It like a switch just switched, and I felt back again. I felt more vibrant. I feel happier. I'm laughing again. And like I said, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. And moving forward now, I've set my foundations up with my home life, where I want to be, the life I want to live. And then when I go into training camps for 8 weeks, there's a purpose, there's a focus, and there's a sacrifice, which will make me a monster come fight night.
And talking of being a monster, you super flyweight is where you're aiming to be, but most recent fight in September, you were at Bantam, good win over Carl Williams. How did you feel in the ring at that weight?
When I took that fight against Carl Williams at bantamweight, I took the fight because when I fought Martinez and I made the weight, it absolutely killed me. I dropped 5 kilos from the night before till the weigh-in, and I absolutely fried myself. And I was scared to make weight again. I thought, like when I was hydrating back up after the weigh-in, I thought like I was gonna die. Like I was sweating. I felt like I was all faint. I felt like I was gonna pass out. I had to go to sleep. And to be fair, Grant didn't know, and he come running to my door, knocking on and woke me up. And I come round in the night, but it put real fear and scaredness in me. And I didn't want to risk that doing it at super flyweight, just in case it felt like that again. So that's why I jumped up 2 weights to bantamweight. Come fight week, I realised that I'm not a bantamweight. I could have made super flyweight comfortably and be strong. And that made me realise that when I'm ready to step back in the ring, because before that fight, I weren't really mentally there. I weren't mentally there before that fight. We all like to say that I were in the best condition, best shape and stuff. But I wasn't the fighter that Charlie once was. I was still battling these demons, these voices, and I was still unconfident in myself because of what happened to me in the Martinez fight. Reality is I've got through that. I've worked on myself a hell of a lot now. And I realised that I can be a 2-weight world champion, and there's so much more left in me. I just needed that break. I went into the Carl Williams fight with, I actually had a bad elbow, and a bad injury. And so I went in that, and it was hard enough to get through this training and the sparring. I had elbow support on, I had to take like painkillers for my arm. It was horrible, absolutely horrible, getting through that fight. But once I got through it was hard. It was hard to get through it. But then after that, I felt like I don't really enjoy this. So I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm putting myself through this anymore. And that's when I realized I had to take a step back from the sport. I had to take a step back and work on myself, work on my family. And I got married after that. And then we had our newborn. And now I feel revitalized. Now I feel ready. I feel it's my time to come back, and I've done it once, and I'll do it again. Look at Casemiro. I when I got beat off him, I come back and then I won a world title, and what I believe my purpose is. You know, once you fail, you come back and you can do it again. And boxing's a very up and down career for everyone. Everyone is suffering as a fighter. We do what many people could not ever do: get in the ring, plan to get in the ring, and have a fight. We're fight or flight as human beings, and most of us flight. So we're pushing our kind of mental capacity to an extreme level. So that's why I had to have a break. But coming through the Carl Williams fight, I knew I wasn't a bantamweight. Even going into the fight, I knew I weren't a bantamweight. And to be fair, Carl Williams was tough as old boots. You know, when we took him and said yes to him, we knew a lot of people didn't want to fight him. He only just lost to Baluta, you know, who had a good fight there with Conlon, and knocked out David Oliver Joyce up at super bantamweight. So it was one of them fights where people look at him and like, he's in the who needs him club. But I took it more to prove to myself that no matter how unconfident I am, I can push through a training camp and I can battle through an injury. And it was just, the main priority with me was to get back in the ring after the Martinez fight. But the training camp was so hard, so hard.
We saw your younger brother, Sonny, win his first world title a few weeks ago. I saw you tweeting about it on the night. You seemed exceptionally proud. Was that another kind of element in rebuilding your hunger and seeing your brother achieve something and thinking, I can do this again, I want to get back in myself?
Definitely. My brother has motivated me as a fighter. I'm the older brother, but I've always looked at him and he's motivated me. And him doing that performance against Miflan Maruti, it was poetry in motion. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, he just flowed. Like, there was like not one thing in doubt with him in that fight, that he was just hit, move, making this, and it was magical. And it was nothing we didn't expect. We knew Sonny was destined to a world champion. I think in my interviews years ago, when he just turned on the pro scene, I told people what he was going to do. When I become world champion, I was like, he's going to definitely win a world title. We've been mixing and sparring for years and years and years, pushing each other. And watching him and what the performance he put in, I knew that then it was like, right, I need to get back to this. Because before I left the gym, me and him were sparring, and we've been sparring great. And like, it's been great spars all the way through our career. And he goes and does a performance like that. I was just like, come on, Charlie, pick yourself up. It's time to go again.
And I guess the key question, you haven't got a date yet, but when roughly do you think you might be back in the ring?
Well, it really solely kind of comes down to when I move into my house. Like I said, the lawyers have got it all under control now. So hopefully it's going to be sooner rather than later. And then I look to get back into the back end of the year, October, November, December sort of time. Like I said, my friend's coming out today. I'm picking him up from the airport in a bit, and we're getting back into like proper boxing, week in, week out kind of training, build me back up. Don't rush things, don't pull no injuries, slowly work, get my flow back. And then we're going to push into a camp.
And have you had much contact while you've been out there from Frank Warren? And obviously, because your first fight with him was in September, I'm sure he's keen to push you on as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've been in contact. I've been in contact with my management team, and you know what? I've got to thank Frank Warren, and I've got to thank my management team, MTK Global, because they've handled everything so superb with me. They've understood me. They haven't pressurized me into rushing back into the ring. They've allowed me to have the quality time with my newborn, which I deserved. I believe I've put in the hard work all my life, and to resettle out here. And they've stuck by me. They're supportive about me. And yeah, of course, he just wants me to continue progressing, and he wants me to win a world title with him. And that is the plan. I've had one fight with Frank. I've got 4 more left, and the plan is in them 4 more fights, he's going to deliver me a world title, and I'll become a 2-weight world champion.
Great stuff. Well, it's great to see you looking so enthused again. You know, Portugal clearly agrees with you.
Yes, it seriously feels like that. Like, I'm not even going to lie. I got to the point where I hated doing media interviews. Like, I hated it with a passion, and that's never been me all the way through my career. I've enjoyed the media work, and I've enjoyed like speaking and progressing my career. But it got to the point where I was that bad and that anxious, I just dodged them all the time. So like, I thank you for giving me your time. I really do, and getting in contact with me to interview again. Yeah, and I also want to say a massive thank you to my sponsors, Cox Consultant and Reese Meaney at Hunter Jones, for staying with me through this hard time. Like, they've supported me massively as well, and they've continued to believe in me, and it's going to be bittersweet when we grow and win another world title together.
Yeah, sponsors must be crucial in times like this to have that security while you're not in the ring.
The thing is, it's a number of things. Like, it's been COVID as well, so there's not been so many fights. So I fought September last year. I was supposed to fight April, but that got cancelled because of COVID. So it's been a crazy time. But COVID's come. I think that didn't help me mentally, overthinking things, stressing about everything. So that come, it helped me take that time out that I needed. And now moving forward, it's going to be the best Charlie Edwards in that ring.
Great stuff. Well, I look forward to seeing you back in that ring. But I'm sure we'll have another chat before then, especially once you hire a new trainer or decide where you're going to spend the last 8 weeks of each camp. But yeah, it's been great catching up with you, and really good to see you happy.
Thank you. Nice one for having me on, Danny.
Anytime, mate.